Hello. Let me take my headphones off because I don't want the echo in my ears. But hello, everyone. Yours truly, me, Chrislevi13. The guy that you love seeing. The guy that when he talks in his YouTube videos, he says, yours truly, the guy who tells you all to stay awesome. As we currently sit, we have had EA, Xbox, Bethesda, Square Enix, Ubisoft, and Sony all have big announcement at E3. We also had the PC gaming show, which I'm really not into that. I mean, if it has some cool stuff, I might get some of that stuff. Same thing with Devolver Digital. And then tomorrow, we have Nintendo, which I do not have a Nintendo Switch, but I will support Nintendo in what they do, and for everyone who has that cool, great grand. But I might have some friends join in if you via Xbox Live. So if you got to, and talk about E3 and give their responses in a moment. But E3, it's been a roller coaster ride. When you think about it, before I get really into each individual developer in the individual games, as you can see, I set up to where you can see donations right up there. You can see games right there. And if you're looking in the chat right there, they are talking about Black Ops 3 being available on PS Plus now. They dropped that ball at the Sony E3 press conference, and they also said that the maps from I think Black Ops 1 and 2 will be available in Black Ops 4, but also available for Black Ops 3 in remastered versions, which seems really, really cool. So if you are here in the chat, tell me your thoughts on what's happening in E3. If you want to join in, send me a party chat request on Xbox, and I will get you in on my computer on the Xbox app, and we'll talk about some E3, because I'm here. That's what I'm here to talk about. Talk about E3, give my experience, because you know what? I could do this earlier in the day, but my internet doesn't always want to do stuff. So right now, I'm here to talk about my thoughts on E3 and keep this video live for you all to see, because the video says EA, Xbox, Bethesda, Ubisoft, and so on. So I'm going to talk about these things. And yes, Bethesda did, and so did Devolver Digital, which they do more PC-esque stuff, and they made fun of themselves and the other people. But yeah, there's some things that, man, when I was watching E3, real quick, people, I'm going to be quiet for a moment because I've got to share this out. But yes, keep commenting in the comment section below. Tell me anything you think about E3 2018. And I'll be talking about E3 for a good little bit, and then I may jump on a game via the Xbox One. Now, I have a lot of games updating on my Xbox One right now, which is kind of bull, but hey, once they get updated, I'll be able to play these games again, but I might jump on some Sea of Thieves, some Bomberman, some Halo, something like that. Or I might jump into some GTA 5. But yes, everybody, give me a moment. And I'm eating some ice cream right now, so give me a moment. And then we'll deep dive into E3. I will answer this one question right here, and then I'm going to get into talking about the different stuff I saw from E3 that I liked, but also some things that I thought were low points in E3. So, homie Larry, homie 100 is his YouTube channel. He is part of the Triple L gaming, part of the tribe, because, and I started to say tribe, just letting you all know, I started to say tribe because me, Larry, and Logan were playing Fortnite, and and Logan started like getting bushes. You know, he liked being a bush. And he said, hey, I'm a bush. And then I named it on several streams, Bush Tribe. So I thought, hey, we call our people instead. People call themselves their fan base, blah, blah. You got the WWE universe. I thought, well, we call our people fans of Tribe. So I thought I'd do it here, there, the other place. But yes, you said, will Rockstar have their own show this year? And if they do, I don't know if Rockstar will ever have their own show because they don't have like 10, 15 different games to show off. But I would love that maybe before the week's out, Rockstar said something else about Red Redemption 2 because it's supposed to be coming out this fall. I would like to hear more information on the game because if we don't hear any more from this game, it leaves me kind of worried because if Rockstar does not have their own show, they should have said, hey, Xbox, hey, PlayStation, which one of y'all is gonna pay me a little more money or give me or want to show me off on your floor because you know I'm gonna be a big third-party game. They should have done that, you know. But anyway, I've got to go get something to drink. Get ready to talk about E3 once I return. We're going to start with EA and Xbox, and then we'll get into the other stuff. So if you got anything to say about EA or Xbox, comment it, and we'll get into it in just a moment. Thank you all for being here. I've really got to get something to drink. My throat's kind of dry, even though I'm eating some ice cream. And yeah. And this may not be the most professional video talking about E3, but it's just my personal opinions, being part of the gaming community, being a fan. It's what I think about this stuff, you know, because it's their thoughts. There's people that were able to live stream it, from Abaddon Smith to RGT85, to this person, to that person, to each company. It was awesome, but I'm going to talk about E3 in just a minute. Give me a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, to start things off, it's talking... So to start things off, okay, so hopefully everything sounds alright right now. So to start things off, you know, you had all this stuff go. We only have Nintendo ready to go, and then they have some like other events like that they have throughout the rest of the week that's just kind of like recapping what happened, a little bit more of deep dives into this or that with developers and stuff like that. But as far as everything went, in my opinion, if you want to talk about each of the conferences that have happened so far, minus Nintendo, because I can't really talk about Nintendo because it's not until tomorrow, because they have their press conference and then they have their Treehouse event, which is both cool. I will say this right here. If you want to sit there and get my Chrislevi13's opinion of their stuff, you can think about this. I would say who did the best? I'll say from the best to the worst, and then I'll get into why I think that and talk about some of the games that I did, you know. And I'm obviously gonna be looking some stuff up on the internet as well. So when you look at E3 and you see EA and you think all these big developers, they got all these big franchises, they got these big things, they should do things right, they should do this. Well, the best so far to me was probably Bethesda, because Bethesda hit it out of the park. Bethesda got the baseball bat, they went up to bat and they said, boom! Because what they do, they gave you details about Fallout 76. And it was good details telling you what the game's going to be online, telling you that it's kind of a pre-sequel to it's before you see everything else happen, and that and that Vault 76 was basically the vault where you were chosen to go into this vault. The best of the best got put into this vault, and it's been like 20-something years or something like that, and then they kind of get released out on the world, so there's not a lot of things or different groups of people out there yet, because everybody else pretty much is still in their vault, you know? And basically it's really hinging on you getting out there, you building your vaults, you doing stuff, and when, you know, and you traveling. If you get attacked, getting your stuff, getting your base together, packing it in your bag, going off somewhere else and building it somewhere and building up a new area, you know? And it's based on being able to be kind of like what you do in Fallout, but depending on having drop-in, drop-out multiplayer aspect to it, which seems really, really cool and interesting to me. You know, because I loved Fallout 4. A lot of people said Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas were the best Fallouts, which I can't complain. Those were good games. But I really loved Fallout 4, even though some of the things got kind of repetitive. It was still very much enjoyable an experience. So, with Fallout 76, I can't wait to get on there. I'll buy the game. I'll do whatever I gotta do to get on there. Me, Larry, Logan, get on there and play that game and have countless hours of fun, because we all three have enjoyed the games. Games. You know, I love watching Logan play it the other night. One of the Fallout games, like the other night or last week it was. It was really, really enjoyable, you know, and I think it's really cool. And then when you're talking about Bethesda, some of their big announcements was things you didn't expect. Oh, we thought, okay, Doom's getting updated. Doom's constantly getting updated, making sure there's patches. If there's things that found in the game, they patch it up. This, that, and the other thing with glitches, this, that, other thing. And then it said, bam, here's a sequel to the 2016 Doom. Here you go. Boom. Here's more Rage 2. Boom. Here's this. Boom. Here's this. Boom. And then we all thought, well, they must not really. They talked about this and they said, but they've always said they're not working on Elder Scrolls. They're not talking about Elder Scrolls because they think, okay, they're gonna put a new Fallout out there. They're gonna work on Doom. They're doing Rage 2. They're doing Wolfenstein. Making sure all those games are on all systems and pushed out there. And then what they do? Elder Scrolls 6 in progress. And bam! I was like, what? And I know Larry was hyped for that. Because the countless hours I know people have put in on Skyrim. Skyrim being on every platform possible from last generation to this generation. That game was groundbreaking. What you can do, you know. And then I heard at the same time that Elder Scrolls Online was put in Xbox Game Pass. So, wow! That is amazing. So it's kind of like, and you know something else that I gotta say? I gotta give hats off to Bethesda, because they make the best single player games. Some, you know, may not, in my opinion, they make some of the best single player games. You dropped yourself into Skyrim, countless hours of fun. Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom. You can play those all by yourself. But now if they're adding multiplayer aspects to it, or like the Elder Scrolls Online or Doom 76 is going to be multiplayer. They're adding multiplayer aspects, but it's like yeah, they're doing that, but they're not going to sit there and kill what they made themselves on, which is very, very awesome. So my hat off to them, you know, and great job, you know. I hope that you all got them, because probably Wolfenstein, Fallout, stuff like that, you know, guy like me, I will jump right into it and forget it all. Oh yeah, don't forget you can play it on a damn fridge, yes. And don't forget the Skyrim. If you got like an Amazon Echo or Alexa or whatever it was, whatever Alexa, you can actually talk to it and play Skyrim. I saw it was a joke, and then I saw John Riggs of Riggs Games playing that thing, and I was like, what? Now, I may be talking real fast, I may be doing all that stuff, but I apologize. But I want to say something else. When it comes after Bethesda, you got to go probably Xbox, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, then Ubisoft, then I think Square Enix, but EA was the worst. So let's talk about the first day, Sunday, Saturday. You had EA's event. And you know EA is going to come hitting hard with all their sports title because that's they're the biggest sports title developer out there with their football, their basketball, their FIFA, and so on and so forth. Which you obviously knew those games were going to be pretty much take what you did, take the formula you did last year with a sports game, update the graphics, add in new players, take out older players that switch out players, and then you basically maybe refine some of the modes, or you add in some different things that you maybe didn't expect story-wise if they have a story to those games. And then you think about that. And okay, so that part of their presentation I was okay with, Nothing was hit or miss with me, Unless they were to do something dramatic with the game sports title, nothing was a hit or miss with me with that. They showed a tiny bit of Battlefield 5, but they obviously said it's going to be shown more at Xbox because Xbox has somewhat of a exclusivity on marketing, not exclusivity to the console, but a little bit on marketing and stuff like that. So obviously they're going to show more on Xbox's floor. Xbox's floor. And then you go into two things. But what got me about them is that they got a good stuff, I wish they would have showed some new Need for Speed. That's my favorite franchise from EA. They talked about Battlefront, nonetheless, and talked about how that was failed, kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. They kind of said sorry for that, and then they went on, But what made me mad about EA is that I don't mind mobile games. I understand that there's a mobile market out there. Mobile games make money. What they should do is that I think they should, if they want to do mobile games, no offense to them, I love PC, and console PC are what I think E3's best about. If they want to do mobile games, I don't think developers should make that part of their big things. I think they should have like a little day, say, hey, after we did all these announcements, hey, here's like the Thursday, hey everybody, welcome to E3, and this is Thursday. You've seen all these big announcements for console and PC. Well, there is a mobile market out there, and EA, Ubisoft, Microsoft, this developer, that developer, has some mobile games coming out to you this year. Here's the chronological thing of mobile games. And they do like a day dedicated to it, or like an hour dedicated, or 30 minutes, a special, bam, drop it that way. But EA went and took Command & Conquer, and what they do with Command & Conquer, they had two guys that were good in that series of games, put them on stage with a mobile game and said, let's play it. And so they're sitting there on the stage for almost 10 minutes promoting this game, showing them do an actual match. And you saw the crowd go from cheering to quiet. And then they get done with that. You got a little bit, tiny bit of a pop. You had, I think you had a guy that was like a big into like the FIFA, or one of the big sports games came out there. That there had his little belt with him. And it was really cool. But the highest point I think in EA's presentation was their commitment to the indie artists, these smaller games, the EA originals. I played the game that they showed, one of the games they showed out there. I played the first one, and that is Unravel. The first Unravel was really cool because you started in this house and you went into these pictures and these different things around the house as this little yarn character called Yarny. And you played as him, and you really would kind of do stuff, and you had to use his yarn and stuff about him. Well, this one, you add another yarn character in it. Girl, it obviously looks like a girl. Character, she's blue. You get tied together, and you go out there and you do that. Unravel 2 looked beautiful. And Larry, if you want to join in, send me a chat request, and I will add you in if you feel like joining in the conversation. And then they also showed this game called Sea of Solitude. I believe I'm saying it right. Where you have like this girl, and she's scared, and it's like this stuff coming out of the sea, and this girl running, and all this stuff. And it looked really, really interesting. I'm like, EA, pour more money into these smaller companies, these smaller titles, but put the money into them to help them build them up as bigger budget games. That would be really, really, really cool and interesting. Okay, let me see something. You know, but overall, EA to me, I'm gonna give everything a number grade 1 out of 10. Because some people do a number grade, some people do a letter grade. I want to do a number grade, and I'll give EA a 4 out of 10 because they would be lower, but those original stuff get some low points. Now, I'm not going to mention everything about every developer, everything like that, because I'm sitting here all day. But we will be going into Xbox next in just a moment. So give me just a moment, everybody. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to do, I just thought, because some people would the only reason I'm really doing this, some people would ask me, you know, what my thoughts were, and I said I'd do a video on it, giving some of my thoughts on some of the stuff. So, anything surprise you with EA or anything like that? Because I'm about to go into Xbox, but EA was obviously the first one, so anything you want to say?
Wolfenstein. I was not expecting that.
Okay.
Like, I know it wasn't EA, but that still surprised me.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Doom, I wasn't really surprised at.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those scenes where they might be working on it at EA, but still one of those scenes where, I was like, no, that's sweet. EA really didn't surprise me at all. But the Elder Scrolls 6 announcement, they did not even show the title except for the Elder Scrolls 6. I'm like, that's it. That's going to be the biggest surprise ever at this year's E3.
Yeah. I mean, to me, EA was just lackluster. I mean, they have a bunch of franchises and a bunch of stuff in their thing, but they just didn't do enough to like do that. And then they focused too much on a mobile game and didn't focus enough on the console stuff. And then they never really talked anything except maybe we got one thing coming to Switch. So it's kind of like they burnt people if you have a Switch and you're a Nintendo fan. And they kind of said, we got our sports titles, we ain't got much anything else. I mean, The only thing that can save EA this year that's going to be big for EA, even with their sports title, obviously going to make bank because they're always sports title, is Battlefield 5, because obviously Battlefield to everybody looks better than Call of Duty so far.
Well, I'll see that. It's a EA. That to me is sports and Battlefield. And
Yeah.
Command and Conquer.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So they might be working on a few surprises that even as fans, so that support them, they might have not even heard anything about. Like, they might be working on one of my personal favorite shooters, Command and Conquer Renegade, but remastered and console, and they're just saying, you know, we're going to give you these sports titles. Which, I mean, yeah, that's fine. Oh, and Battlefield 5 and some stuff for the Switch. Oh,
Yep.
take a look at Bethesda. Oh, all they did was just show the Elder Scrolls 6. And people just got so excited. All they did not say, you know, the Elder Scrolls 6, Vinewood, or
Skyrim 2 or something.
Yeah, stuff like that. They just said the Elder Scrolls 6. Nothing else. Now that means that we know that they're working on it, but will there be hidden surprises in there, like there's been in Oblivion and Skyrim? Because in Oblivion, if you get the arena line, actually use that the one character back to Skyrim. And this was, let me just do a quick Google here. Six. And they're saying, you know, Skyrim, which came out, 5 years later.
But yeah, okay, so let's see.
So that to me was kind of shocking.
Okay, so let's just see what that show where it takes me. Cause I want to make sure. Okay, no. When I go there, give me a second for me. I'm just. But man, but then when you move over to let me see. Let me go right here. Just go. When you went up, now EA was a real low point. So E3's weekend, starting into the week, didn't start off too hot. But when you start off Xbox's press conference, and you didn't have nobody coming out there talking, you didn't have nobody saying, hey, this is the next generation, this is the next game. You sit there and say, the franchise that is most synonymous with Xbox, the franchise that can go down and say it sold the most Xboxes for Microsoft and probably the most Xbox 360s. You have Halo come on there with a trailer. And then what's cool about that is it wasn't a Halo that was departed way in outer space. Oh, it's this. It's like three, maybe four, maybe five. Way out there, you're fighting. You're out in their space. You're going to fight aliens. You're doing all this. Obviously, you're gonna have maybe some Flood or Covenant in the game. But the thing about it is, you actually saw grass, trees, a sky, and then you opened up and you saw these little dinosaur-like creatures. But what was really cool is that you saw, when it zoomed out, it looked like almost like a Halo, like you saw in the original Halo game. And then you saw a Warthog driving through there. And I'm like, you saw the most classic vehicle, the most iconic vehicle in Halo driving through there, speeding off through there. And then you saw a group of people walking through one of the circles. They dropped looks like a smoke grenade or maybe like a flare or something for people to see where they are. And then you see the most iconic image in Halo, the mask, and then part of the character, Master Chief. And then it comes on there, Halo Infinite, with what it looks like a new engine that they're creating in Slip Space or whatever it is, and it's coming 2019. So definitely, I know that you all know that I'll be with somebody getting that game. But just to drop that, and before they went into anything else, really, really was cool. What did you think of the new Halo? Even though it was only like a minute or two trailer.
You know what? I remember borrowing, or even going over to friends' places and playing Halo Combat Evolved.
Yeah.
And then when Halo 2, this one person kept saying that he was unboardable. And on this one map, he was the best at it. I was able to shut him up. So, the new Halo, I look forward to shutting people up that say, you can't take me on a one-on-one on this map or this or that and the other thing. Even with that trailer, I know that there's going to be boarding because that's been there since Halo 2.
Yeah.
And quite a few other stuff.
Yeah. Yep. The new engine that the Halo 5 is made in, which I guess 343 made a new engine, and I guess since it's a Halo game, it's probably going to be just for Microsoft games, is called the Slip Space engine, and it provides you the future of the thing. It says, Master Chief is a space marine from Microsoft's massive franchise, has been the darling of Xbox line for more than a decade, and it looks like it's going back to its roots. Infinite only has a teaser trailer at the moment, but it looks a lot like it will be a callback to the original game. That's not all too surprising after mixed reviews of Halo 5 received, which obviously I see why Halo 5 received mixed reviews, but I was a fan of that game. But now, next to Halo, the next biggest franchise in just as massive a world, has all the fans just as much as Halo, was a game that you even talked to me about before we got into E3 itself, was Gears of War. And there was 3 games announced, rumored for it, and then 3 games were announced. And yeah. So, I'll talk about the 2 side games that were announced, and then we'll talk about the big one. So we have one that was based off the Pop Funkos, which I saw an interview where like the guy was talking about why they use Pop Funkos in like the phone version game of it, and he said, well, we're talking about some different things to do with Gears of War to try some new things. And I guess I forgot what one of the characters, he said one of the characters was sitting on his desk at his Microsoft office, and he said, I looked down and I was like, you know what, nobody's ever done this, I don't want to sit there, but use Pop Funkos, they look really cool. So that's what they tried, they said it would work in a mobile setting, get a lot of people into it. So cool. And then they also said, Halo did good with a RTS style game with Halo Wars, so let's do that. But they call it, and let's do it good for our PC base by having what? Gears of War Tactics. So what do you think about those 2 games? The Pop Funko game and Gears of War Tactics?
Now, what did I say about Halo Wars? That I prefer to play that type of a game more on computer.
True.
Over console. So, I'm not sure if, the people at that big Gears of War or whatever, sat here and watched the one video that day. They're like, okay, you know what? This person says he likes his RTS games on computer. Let's do that.
Yeah.
If they did, I'm quite surprised. If not, well, that's still kind of cool that they're using my idea. And as for the Gears Funk or Pop, that, to me, I thought was a collection coming out, not a game. So yeah, that was also cool.
Yeah,
caught me off guard.
Yeah, another thing when you talk about Gears of War, the tactics game, which obviously those games lead themselves more to the PC thing. Which I like that they're taking a step, putting it on consoles, and they're actually making a decent version of it. Not I wouldn't say anything groundbreaking, but it is a decent version. And what I'm saying is, I'll check the chat in a minute if anybody's there. But I watched some of the stuff because I clicked on a video called talk about their Xbox Inside, what they do at the beginning of each month. Well, obviously they had their E3, and then they were doing it. They were doing it today. Well, they're kind of doing their thing, promoting some of their stuff. It was between a thing after Ubisoft. I got on there and clicked on it and watched it for about 10 minutes. And they're talking about Gears, and they said, why did you want to go like Halo Wars and do something Gears Tactics like that? And they said being that Microsoft has a console, and now that consoles and PCs are so alike in certain ways, and Microsoft wants to make sure that they can get their stuff out to the biggest fan base that they can. Because if Microsoft has a phone, Microsoft has a PC, Microsoft has a console, they want to be able to get all their games there. You virtually can't. You're not going to get every game there because obviously a phone can't run every game that a console can. A console can't run every game that a PC can. But if we can get these experiences there for the many people who can through Game Pass, through this, it's really, really cool. And with Tactics, we can sit there and make a great version of it for this. But we know that there's a market out there that PC people want to get into Gears of War and want to be able to take that experience. So they sit there and we get Tactics. You maybe get the next gear on there, and really, really cool. So I'm cool for that. Now we talk into it. Everybody, after you saw those two announcements, everybody's like, well, okay, you're still going to go into with mainline gear. And they did announce Gears 5 coming next year alongside Halo Infinite. And Gears 5 looks like it's about 5 to 10 years into the future. the world's a little bit more grittier. But then you see the focus go onto the girl of the story, and I can speak a little bit on Gears, but I know that Larry's been more into the games, played them a lot more probably than I have, because I'm more of the Halo person. So, what do you think about Gears of War 5? And you got anything else to say about that?
Okay. This one, I wasn't 100% sold on, but I'm not sure if it's like you're trying to figure out why your character never is having nightmares. That whether that goes like, okay, you're here as her and you're having nightmares because of what happened in Gears of War 4 or not. I'm not 100% sure. Or is it something else that they're not telling us? Because I can sit there and speculate that the reason why she is having the nightmares is because they have now taken over her body and are manipulating her. So it leaves so many questions. Oh. But one of these where I can say, well, this is what it is. You know, am I right? I don't know. Am I wrong? Again, I don't know. But they did not really dig around. Like, oh, hey, this is going to be the story. All they said was, here we go. This person's having nightmares.
Yep.
Yep. Like, even watching the trailer, she points the gun at him and goes, why did you follow me? That is where my questioning comes in.
Yeah.
Like that.
But knowing them, they'll hopefully they explain enough of the time gap that they put in the game, but also they explain why she's acting this way. But it's good to see that they're taking a new route with this game and they're going to more focused on the girl this time. Now I've kind of mentioned something else then. Before I get into the rest of Xbox, I did see something right here on the screen that I was looking at some games while you were talking about that. Is that when I talked about EA, there's one thing that I did forget to mention, and that is the game that I think they also that Microsoft has the advertising promotions for that game, not exclusivity, but basically advertising, kind of like when Microsoft does for Battlefield 5 and Sony does for the Call of Duty. Is that I forgot to talk about Anthem. We actually saw a better length of Anthem. We saw developers talk about Anthem, and we saw actual, what they said on the screen was said, as I saw it, it said in-game engine footage, and then they showed gameplay footage itself. But everybody and their grandmother, their mother, their father, is comparing it to Destiny, which obviously I understand that, but at the same time, I would wait until you play the game until you actually are holding control, you playing it, not somebody else playing it, before you give it that thing. And some people are like, oh, but it's Destiny. But no, it's Destiny that you can fly in. I think this game actually, to me, looks better than Destiny. Has more of a story than Destiny, and looks fun from what I've seen so far. Hopefully they continue that. You got, yeah, so what do you think about Anthem so far, what you've seen?
Well, I haven't seen much about it, but I will say this. People at E3, I believe, got Riot, so they can say, oh, well, this looks like Destiny. Well, I'm sitting here going, okay, I want a playable demo, even if it's like Warhammer Vermintide 2, where, it's beta, but stuff. Oh, at least give us something to play so we can go, it is like Destiny or not. Because I can say that, Infinite, looks like Halo 8, just a different name in the Halo series. Am I right? No.
Yeah.
But I can say that just because of the trailer. Until I physically play it, or the people physically can play it, we can say anything we want.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're doing here. We haven't played. We haven't played a single game that's been shown at E3, but we're allowed to give our opinions, say what we want. But there's certain things that I wouldn't say until I actually have footage. Not footage, but me actually play the game, or somebody that I know played the game, because I would trust. There's certain people's opinions I trust. But now, if you talk about back to talking about Xbox, let me get a second. Another one of their big franchises, which I heard some interesting news also on Inside Xbox on why the game was delayed. And if you obviously hear the word delay, you know what I'm talking about. The game that believe has a Terry Crews character in the game this time, and that is Crackdown 3. From what I heard before I get to talk about Crackdown 3, it's delayed until February of next year, which only means 6 more months of delay. But hopefully they get done what they need to with online multiplayer and single player. But I heard them talk about that they want to make this game that it may never look, or people may never see it this way, but they want to try to get a little bit of the piece of what Gears of War and Halo have done and put that game in somewhat that realm, because they want to make it a stable franchise for Xbox. And I mean, I like Crackdown. I like Crackdown 1, 2. It's fun. It's arcade. You got an arcade feel. You get to go run around, do this, do that, blow stuff up. It's really, really cool and interesting, And what they've been doing in this game, it's been delay. But hopefully these delays pay off big, not just for me as a gamer, but for Microsoft itself, because Microsoft needs a game like this. Games like Halo, games like Gears, games like Cuphead. It needs those games to thrive on their platform, whether it be PC or Xbox, to keep people wanting to know, why do I need an Xbox One X? Why do I need an Xbox One S? Because of this. Because you can't get this experience on PlayStation, Nintendo, here, there, the other thing.
Okay. When I hear the word delayed, that to me is a good thing. Because take a look at what happened with Halo Master Chief Collection. When it launched, the online failed.
Yeah.
So, to me, when I hear delay, they're going, okay, where are some of the problems here at the studio? Let's see. Okay, single player. Well, there is this mission, that's not showing up, and yet I've done up to that point, and I have everything that I need. Why isn't it popping up? Let's fix that. Oh.
Yeah, because...
So, that's one part. Another thing, it is, okay, I'm in first, and the race, let's say, they add, and I'm finished, however many laps, or if it's a single lap race, why am I still getting timed and this type of stuff? So to me, delayed is actually a good thing. It means that they're seeing problems and trying to fix them before they release it. Now, if they had said canceled, I would have been upset.
I would have been very upset if I heard canceled. But I want to add to what you're saying is that when I hear the delay, I'd rather a game be delayed than you get a game that releases too early and then the developer says, well, the game released too early. We all notice it has bugs, it has glitches. Well, we'll give you some patches, we'll give you some updates. Dates should fix that game, and then it should be more playable. I'd rather a game be delayed and be more refined and have less glitches, less bugs, and have a better single player and multiplayer game, if it has multiplayer in a game, that's more fleshed out. Then you rush the game out there, and when you try to do a multiplayer match, you can't find anybody, or it's buggy. Or when you try to do single player, you see these glitches or parts of the world you can't get to that you're supposed to get to. I would rather see a game made all around better for the experience for the player, even if the game has to get delayed, no matter if it's 6 months, a year, or 2 years. As long as it eventually comes out. Because if you look at it, a lot of Final Fantasy games been delayed, but they come out, and when they come out, they're pretty damn good. Hopefully that happens with Final Fantasy VII, but I'm not going to get into that beast because everybody was expecting that at every conference that it could have been at. And yet there was nothing said of it. It was real quiet, and they lost me there. Another thing that was really cool to see is that before I'm gonna let you say something interesting, is that I saw Ori and the Will of the Wisp trailer, and what was funny is I was watching RGT85 stream that, and he said, man, that looks like Stitch up there from y'all remember as kids, y'all saw this little thing called Lilo and Stitch from Disney. That dude looked like a Stitch, and I looked at the character, I'm like, that does look like a Stitch character. But yeah, what do you want to say, Larry?
I will touch on the Final Fantasy VII Remake a little bit, but I'm not going to get into too much detail. But I kind of heard that they are wanting to delay it just until it turns 20 in
2019.
2020. 23, I want to see.
Final Fantasy 7 came out in like 90 something. So it's already 20. Because Final Fantasy 10 came out in 2001.
97.
Maybe they're waiting until it's 25 years old. But yeah, but that kind of lost me there. Yeah, but okay, let me see. It's just with Final Fantasy. I'm just worried about that game because the last news I heard about it is that they switched studios with it. Square Enix did. One of their studios partnered with them. They switched studios and they had to scrap some of the stuff they did and redo this and do that. And it's just like, I'm just hopeful that game looks as good as the trailer we saw when the one trailer they released when it initially was announced at 2013 E3 or 15 E3, one of them.
Yeah, but I'm hearing that they want to wait until it's a bit older on the anniversary, the day that it first came out. But that's only a rumor.
Yeah. But overall, there's some more things I want to say about Xbox. But overall, Xbox surprised me this year. They did some good things. They came out there with their top franchises, hit us out of the park with them. And they also said one of the franchises they have, because they have the company Rare, was coming back. But also, one of the franchises that releases yearly between the Motorsport series and the Horizon series is Forza Horizon 4, which I'll be getting. And it's set in Britain. This racing game comes out on October 2nd and will only appear on Xbox One and PC. This is typically one of the titles that Microsoft uses to show off what the Xbox hardware can do, and the latest installment seems to follow that pattern. It will have 60 FPS mode on the powerful Xbox One, which makes it some impressive smooth gameplay. Plus, what they said is that the seasons, fall, winter, spring, summer, will change the way the cars drive and the way the game acts, which is a cool feature that I've never seen in a racing game. I know people can say racing games are all the same, but they're really not. You know, you got different tracks, you got different cars, you got different things. So I'm really hyped for this one, and it'll probably be one of the games I buy at Christmas this year.
Oh, I will say that about Forza is, if, let's say I'm racing you and Logan, if it starts to rain on my end, it's also raining on your guys' end. You know, if it starts to snow on one of your ends, it's also happening on my end. So I like how they say that the weather is going to be affecting everyone, not just one player.
Yep.
So, but one game that I was kind of surprised at, even though it's coming out next year, Battletoads.
Yep, that's the one that I have not talked about yet. They didn't release much information other than some text-based screen in the Battletoads style. So that's really, really cool to see them reaching into that franchise from Rare and saying we're bringing Battletoads back next year, which is really, really cool. Which there's some more things that I've got to say in a moment, but I'll let you get into what do you think about them. Even though it was just like a teaser of, hey, we're gonna reach back there and bring back Battletoads. What do you think?
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's say you're 10 years old and your mom or dad or whoever takes you to an arcade. What's one of the games you see there? Battletoads. So, to pretty much go from playing Battletoads in an arcade to where they are now, that's quite the achievement.
True.
Even Mortal Kombat started out in an arcade. So, and just remember, you're 10 years old, how many hours and quarters or loonies or toonies or whatever that system took to just spend just because that was like the only way to play Battletoads back then.
Yep. Okay. Another thing that's really cool about Battletoads, with them bringing that back at the same time, which made me tip my hat off to him, made it really good. Now, Phil Spencer came on the stage, and he basically said, yes, we are working on the next console, which virtually is probably gonna be called the Xbox 2. He said we're working on that. We've talked to developers. We've done this. Basically, he said hey, you want to know if we're doing this? Yes, we're doing this, but it is a while off. But with that being said, he also, I'm not saying word for word what he said because I don't know word for word. I know the gist of what he said because I was watching it on stream. But he did say that Microsoft purchased 5 studios. The studio that makes the Forza series, the studio that makes State of Decay, the studio that made Hellblade, the studio and 2 other studios, so that they can give back to their fans, that they can make better games, more games, make console/PC exclusives for the Xbox Microsoft brand. Get back into making big, massive worlds. Get back into bringing people back into the thing. And yeah, it said it may take a while for those games to come out, and people may think, oh, well, where are the exclusives? Where's this, that? Well, if they pack 19 with a lot of games from their first-party games in 19, and then the studios they bought, they start having games come out in 2020 and 2021, then they can make the end of this generation be a hit out of the park. Yeah, it was rocky with the beginning of it and the Kinect and all that, and that blunder going from 360 to this, and Cortana and all that. But if they can hit it out of the park with that, I think it'd be really, really good because I'm a big fan of them. Obviously, Nintendo, obviously Xbox and PlayStation are the ones that I look at the most, and when it comes to developers, Bethesda and Square Enix. But Xbox, they're doing good, you know. I mean, they didn't pack a lot into this year, which I mean, they're missing a little of a piece of the pie. But if they can surprise us next year and the year after, I'm really, really excited. And also, another thing that they said, which is really, really good, is that people said, well, they're a third-party console. They said, we've got our first-party games coming. But, at the same time, we are where you can play those third-party games with the best experience, the best looks. And I was like, hey, they got the most powerful console out there. Okay, ooh. Another thing that I saw that I know I said something to Larry as soon as I saw it at work, was if you're a fan of the Life is Strange games, which obviously there's going to be another Life is Strange coming sooner or later. They've obviously hinted at it. But they're putting another game in the universe of Life is Strange called The Adventures of Captain Awesome, coming June 26th. Which that's pretty
Captain
soon
Spirit.
Yeah, The Adventures of Captain Spirit. Which seemed pretty cool because I didn't know what kind of game. I thought it was like, was there an indie developer coming to the Xbox doing a special game for them? And then I was like, oh, it's the people that did Life is Strange. But I'll probably get Captain Spirit to see what that's all about because Life is Strange was pretty cool. They obviously showed some more Division 2 because that's another one of those third-party games that they've got, promotional exclusivity with. Division 2, which Division 2 is set after the Aftermath, but it's set in Washington, D.C. And they specifically said through Xbox and through Ubisoft that it wants to show more of the world, show more of the organic world after this has the events have happened, has moved from New York to Washington D.C. And another thing that threw me with third-party games is I thought Sony would be the one to be able to announce this, but they finally showed this game going back to somewhat of its roots of the earlier games, but using the graphics and style somewhat of the older games, and that's Devil May Cry 5. That makes me want to buy that game. The way it looked. Another real quick game, if you want to, is they're expanding on what they did in 3 is Xbox got to announce it, is Just Cause 4. Xbox had a lot of games, so they probably had more games on their floor, whether it be first party, third party, than anybody else that I saw. So they did Just Cause 4, which means, and they also said that grappling hook thing, they are expanding on that. They're also adding more elements of, like, the weather affecting you and all that. Which I think is really cool, and definitely I'll play that game. And one thing, I don't know if anybody out there is a fighter fan. I know I'm somewhat of a fighter fan. I'm kind of 50-50 with it. I'm more of a Tekken, as y'all have said it before, Tekken, Dead or Alive, Soul Calibur type person. But if you like anime, you like fighting games from like Dragon Ball Z, you like the One Piece fighting game, you like the Naruto fighting games, get ready, because coming next year, you got, you know, the Shonen Jump, the magazines that they create, the little comics that basically they do stuff like they release in Japan, and they've been in America before too. It's basically they got a game release, dropped over, and it is Jump Force. They showed Goku. They showed one of the, I forgot what the character's name is from One Piece. They showed Naruto. They showed Frieza. And they showed Frieza having a fight by destroying part of the city. And then Naruto used his power where he multiplied himself and went after Frieza. That game looked really, really cool. And I actually dropped my draw seeing that. There's 2 other games I got to talk about Xbox. And, well, 3 other games I got to talk about on Xbox. One is,
Jump Force. Jump Force. To me, when they announced it, I was like, wait, what is this?
Yep.
Because it looks good. Like, there's been a few fighting games where, you know, they've said, okay, we'll take this world and this world and sort of this world as well. And it's been like, hey, I to sell this. And I only played like 10 minutes of it. It was not a good game.
Yep. But, okay.
But this one looks good.
Yeah. And it's, because I'm actually looking at it right here on my computer. And it says Jump Force is an all-star mashup of Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, which I've watched all those animes before. I've watched the most of Naruto and Dragon Ball because obviously those are the ones that are shown more in America, for where I live at least, you know, from Cartoon Network and so on. And I've watched some One Piece, and I've also seen Death Note, because those are the 4 that says how much do you like anime? Because Jump Force had a lot of the new Bandai Namco game mashed together worlds like Dragon Ball and Death Note into one brawler. That looks like it could be the best of fan service, the size of Super Smash Bros. So it's like Super Smash Bros. Basically for anime, which actually looks pretty decent, because you always want, people have always said Goku, even Funimation or whatever that company is, they said last year whenever the first leaks of Smash for Switch was getting announced, they said Goku for that. Well, Goku's actually in a game outside of Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse. and Dragon Ball Z Fighters, and it's actually multiple things. So it's really, really cool. Let me see. Another thing they announced, obviously I said it. It's one of their more indie type original games. It's Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is a sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest. They also talked about Cuphead again. They said Cuphead will be having a DLC come to the game next year when the DLC drops. It drops some newer levels, but also you get to play as a girl character this time in the game, which is cool. But then when you thought Xbox was said and done, it wasn't said and done. The game made by CD Projekt Red, which CD Projekt Red hasn't let us down. Witcher 3 is considered by so many people the best open world, most massive game out there ever. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? I played a little bit of The Witcher 3. I don't think that of the game. But if you do, cool. I can see where people think that of the game. But before the thing go, Spillfinger thought he's going to tell everybody, thank you for coming to watch this, and then screen crashed. And then you saw it. Saw the futuristic world. And you saw Cyberpunk 2077, a game that I know I'm buying. 60, 70, 80 bucks, I'm buying the game.
All right. My biggest concern is you have Deep Silver, who now owns 2 franchises. One of them being Saints Row, the other being Agents of Mayhem. Now, are we going to see Cyberpunk 2077 try to compete against Deep Silver?
You brought an interesting point.
The Saints Row, just like Call of Duty and Battlefield are doing. Where they go, okay, let's release this game. Black Ops 4, let's go online only. Battlefield 5. You want single player? Boom, you got it. So are we going to see competition like that? Or are we going to see competition like PUBG and Fortnite, where they're battling it out in court? Where even Fortnite helped make PUBG. But PUBG just wants to sue just because of one thing. And that is because Fortnite Battle Royale and PUBG is saying like PUBG is doing Epic Games over similarities between the two games. But yet pretty much saying, I want to use your engine, but you're not allowed to use our game. Which is rather stupid. Because, if I make a game and I even go to like Deep Silver, let's say, hey, I want to go into a competition against you guys where we put out a game. This is what it is. You know. So we sort of have this feud where, okay, we're going to release our first game like this. We show you the trailers and stuff. My boss says it's okay. You know, this is what we're doing. Oh, does this look fine? No, if not, we'll change it up a bit. Make it our own game, but at the same time, make it where it is, you know, our team versus your team. And, like, to me, if they automatically announce Agents of Mayhem 2, Saints Row 5, which would technically be the 6th game, because there was that one where you played Gat in a standalone series.
Oh, Gat so,
yeah. You know, where, you know,
yeah, you went to hell basically in that
one. I do. Yeah. Where, you know, the company says, you know, okay, this is what looks like, you know, this looks fine, you know, and you got, oh, we're going to work on a game to bring in that competition. Whether that be Agents of Mayhem 2, Saints Row 5, like I said, would be the 6th game. And stuff. The one thing I'm hoping you can do in Cyberpunk 2077 is custom characters. And do sort of you do the mission, make your own or girl. You know?
Yeah. But let me see what back to my page I was at. But yeah, I think overall Microsoft made me proud for them because yeah, people can harp on them for not having the exclusives come out and the rest of the year kind of being lackluster, other than Forza and a bunch of third-party games. But if they do what I could see them doing, you know, because they kind of went back on, hey, we're not going to show all these fancy cars like we did last time when we were doing Forza. We're not going to do this. Where, you know, you only really had Phil Spencer come out there. You only really did that, so I'm proud for them to do that, you know. They weren't like EA and had a bunch of developers and people come out there and be nervous on stage. They didn't do what Square Enix did, where they just phoned it in, which I'll talk about Square Enix in a moment, where they just phoned it in and did a 30-minute spice reel of, hey, here's the games. It's cool. Plus, something that surprised me about Xbox's conference is obviously there's games coming to Xbox for the first time ever, but they showed off what they showed at the World Orchestra that was just like a day or two before. They showed off Kingdom Hearts 3, and they showed that Frozen is in the game. They showed a tiny bit more of the Monsters Inc. and Toy Story World, and they also showed off Tangled. And being a fan of that game, I saw it, and I'm going to switch to some gameplay in a minute and actually play a game for you all while we continue talking. But I actually saw that, and I teared up. Because that's, I mean, I played a bunch of games. I played everything from Ratchet and Clank to Rocket League to this game, to that game, to Borderlands, to Need for Speed, to the Halo games. But there's no other game, and it's not just because it's Disney, not just because it's Disney with Final Fantasy aspects to it and then some new characters. It's because I remember as a kid sitting there when I was in elementary school playing the first and second game, and beating them myself. My brother never helped me on the game, nothing like that. I remember sitting there and beating those games, and then I always watched footage of the mobile games, and it blew my mind that they're finally doing 3, and they're putting all this content into it. And then you see Square Enix come out, and they show even more. They show Ratatouille, and then what happens? Sony comes along, and they show, hey, Jack Sparrow's back in the game, but you have to go more into his world, and it's like, oh my goodness, the influx of stuff. And then what surprised me is that I had to go back and look at it. Larry told me about it. Is they're actually releasing a limited edition Xbox, PlayStation 4 that gives you Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, so that you have a console with every single Kingdom Hearts game on it, whether it be 1, 2, the portable games, or 3, all on one console at your hands to play. And that is sitting there making me think, if that's $250, $300, I thought about getting this game for Xbox, buying the $200 like little thing that comes with the figures and all that they announced yesterday. But when I saw this and I saw what Larry told me, I almost thought, this might be my way to start playing some PS4 games, getting into that world. I know in the next 2-3 years we could have a PS5, but to have a custom console for Kingdom Hearts, I might dive in that, because I did that. That was Halo. I have a custom Xbox, Halo Xbox. If you see right here, I actually cleaned out my room the other day when they did carpet in my room, and I put my box next to the thing. If you look at the stream right now, let me show you. I know I'm getting a little off point of E3, but I actually have a custom Xbox One for Halo 5. That's how much I love certain games, that I will buy a whole $500 console just for one damn game. But yeah.
Well, to your point, wasn't Halo 5 announced at an E3 where they even said that, hey, we're going to bring out this custom console for it?
I believe so.
No. It might not be like the current E3, but could have sworn there was one.
But man, I think I gotta give a hats off to Xbox. Xbox made people sure that they may not have something right now to give you, but the future of Xbox is bright. And Xbox actually kind of didn't do something where they made sure that before they went and dived into the third parties, they made sure that their first party stuff was solid. So I give my what the hell is that? Okay, that's the E3 logo. Okay, I was looking at YouTube right quick, everybody, and I was looking at something weird, and I was like, what the hell is that? And it's like a weird E3 logo, but okay. But then that night after you had Xbox's event, you had the event. Larry's talked about it, and it was Bethesda's event, where we saw a lot of stuff drop there. And Bethesda, to me, I'll say that Bethesda is one of my favorite developers, because what do? They make a game that is beautiful, that is massive, that has a good story to it, and if it's any way multiplayer, that the multiplayer is good, but they don't sacrifice if the game has a single player, that single player experience. Now, it's a little iffy if how it's going to be with the next Fallout, but when you got Elder Scrolls, Doom, Wolfenstein, and Fallout, they're big franchises. They're all here. They're all getting announced, and they're all stuff that's not just, it's this same game, it's Skyrim coming to another platform. It's actually, this is in development. This is coming out this date. This is what's happening. That makes me very, very happy. And I'm really happy to see Fallout 76. But yeah, what do you want to say?
I'll say this. Right now, in the Elder Scrolls 6, I lost it. I've been waiting years for any news about the Elder Scrolls 6. No.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it sticks to the roots of single player only. But I can't wait to dive into that story and spend hours like I have with Oblivion, Morrowind, Sky.
Yeah.
And just spend hours. I'll even admit, there's been times where I'll boot up one of them, delete all my saves, whatnot, and just start from scratch. Just because that experience is so good.
I love Skyrim. I mean, there's been multiple times I've done the same thing. Like Skyrim, I mean, I don't like going through the same first scene. Like when you go through there and you get like you're in like the jail thing, and then you're like and then the dragon comes attack you, and then you get to. But once that dragon attacks and you get into the open world, there's so much to do in that world, and just and some of the stuff you can fast travel to here and there in certain games. But it's like Fallout. It's like Skyrim. Would I rather want to fast travel somewhere, or would I rather walk there and experience the world and see what loot or what characters or different things I would see in the world? You know?
Well, I do both. Because sometimes like Oblivion, you actually like after you get out of jail, because the Emperor lets you out, and but and then you go to the arena and you meet up with the great champion of the arena there. He says, I'd love for you to go to this place. But when he marks it on the map, you actually have to walk there. Yes, you can fast travel to the city that is below it and then walk there. Or you can take the long route and go all over and just explore the world.
Yep. There's so much being announced at that E3 that there's also something else I forgot about Xbox. Something that you see me, Logan, and Larry play a whole lot of, and that is Sea of Thieves. And they announced 2 DLCs coming. One coming next month and one coming in September. So it basically means the last one dropped in May. It basically means almost every 2 months to the date, you're getting content added to that game, whether it be stuff to customize your ship, your character, or the worlds for you to go in. And it was really cool, the joke that they played when they showed one of the trailers, that the character was walking out there, going up to the lady that you sell your skulls to, and she's looking at a skull. She puts it down, she grabbed the little thing, and she looks into it, and almost like looking into an orb. And you look in there, and you see like a red sea, it looks like, with like ships going in there and battling each other, and it looked really cool. So you got the cursed cells and all that coming to the game. So content like that in the game makes me go other games that, hey, if you want to release your game, but you don't have everything you want in that game, but yeah, you make sure your game's not glitchy or laggy or anything, which obviously Sea of Thieves didn't have a ton in it, but it ran smooth. It does have a few lags here and there, but most of the time it runs smooth. It looks beautiful. The water looks amazing. So to see them having some DLC for it is really, really cool, because I know me, Larry, and Logan will definitely be jumping into that DLC of the game. But another thing, let me get back over here real quick before I start into my game that I'm playing right here. It says the Fallout series, a massive fun open world through post-apocalyptic new Fallout is one of the biggest games announced of these shows. So the new title is an online role-playing game that is meant to be played online with friends. This will hit shelves November 14th. This means you gotta have a lot of money this holiday season, including a lot of interactive apocalyptic humor and more missions and side missions than your Thanksgiving break can handle. That looks really cool. Plus, also they showed more of Rage 2, which obviously Rage 2 looked crazy as enough already. It's like all this, yeah. So both of those games will be taking my money some way. So I think, personally to me, Bethesda out of the studios, not just big like game developers, the ones that like own studios like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Bethesda did the best. But now what do you want to say as I start my game up?
Now, I hope when Rage 2 comes out, they pull off a South Park, the fractured but whole.
What do you mean by that?
Well, think about this. When South Park, the fractured butthole came out, what came with it?
What came with
South Park, the stick of truth.
Oh, so you're thinking, well, we're going to give you this game, since it's been a while, we're going to give you this game so you can know about the world. Okay. And basically an HD version of it, too.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, I really liked what Bethesda, Microsoft did this year. So you excited for a lot of games coming from both of them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so now after we had Bethesda and Microsoft, we went into Monday. So now we've done Saturday, Sunday, now we're into Monday. And here's where the low point, another low point, wasn't as bad as EA, because EA had a mobile game sitting there, and I was like, I understand mobile games make money, do this, but I think they should have like a thing like they do with PC Gaming Show. They should do that for the mobile games. But we had nobody come out on stage really, except for the head person of Square Enix, and basically Square Enix came out and said, you know what we make, you know what we have coming out. Basically, here's a sizzle reel of all the games we got. We only got announced 2 new games from them. That was this Quiet Man, where I guess this Deaf Man was in the game, and then you had this like Babylon game, which Babylon game didn't really have any gameplay, and then the Quiet Man was more like a real life CGI type thing, and then he beat this dude up, and yeah, and then you had, I guess people still play Final Fantasy 14. I mean, people still play all the Final Fantasies because that's how great Final Fantasy is. I'll see on YouTube, I've seen people play 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all that on YouTube, Twitch, still to this day. So they're doing a crossover. They're not doing anything for Final Fantasy 16. They're not doing anything for any of the other Final Fantasies, but it's Final Fantasy 14. It's a crossover with that and Monster Hunter. So I'm like, okay, cool, great. But I don't know if it's grand because, well, yeah. Another thing that looks cool is that Bethesda did announce a game called Starfield, which I know nothing about, but it did look interesting. But it's just like Square Enix, like they played, Square Enix kind of tried to play it too safe to where it was almost a hindrance to them. But they obviously did show more Kingdom Hearts, which in their trailer compared to the one before was everything you saw in the one from Microsoft. But they added a little bit more to the Toy Story area, to where they were trying to save Pig, and they also showed that Ratatouille was confirmed to the game. Game was the I forgot what the rat's name is, in Sora's hair in a level cooking up something. So that was interesting. And then after Square Enix was Ubisoft, and Ubisoft did better than Square Enix. I mean, obviously they started out scaring me because they had like this dancing panda, but then after they went to the dance panda, they basically it was for Just Dance. Which was crazy about Just Dance is that the Just Dance still has a Just Dance version coming out for the Wii, they said. And I'm like, what? People are still playing the Wii? Okay. Kind of surprised me. But hey, if you make money any way you can. But then they also had some, obviously more Beyond Good and Evil, which basically a cinematic trailer, a very high CGI trailer for that. They showed a tiny bit of gameplay footage. And that game is a game that will be taking my money once it releases, probably next year or the year after. They showed a game that basically has exclusive character to Nintendo because it's a Nintendo franchise character in Star Fox in the space game that they were doing. And yeah, so they did all right with their stuff. Let me actually look this up real quick. Okay. But yeah, hopefully anybody that watches this now or later, because I know there's a lot of people that watch our streams, whether it be here or over on Triple O Gaming, after the fact, because I've always seen our views grow. Also, they did announce officially the Assassin's Creed or Odyssey, which is set in Greece, and it actually looks pretty damn good. You know, a lot of people are saying, hey, they're gonna get back in the series, and maybe they weren't there for Origins, but for this one they could get back in there. Especially one guy that I knew didn't really care for Origins, even though it did get a high score, and he thought it was a good game, even though he personally didn't play much of it.
Now, do you think that's fair? Playing maybe 5-10 minutes of a game and pretty much saying, no, I don't like it.
I mean, it depends. It depends. Now, if you play a game for 5-10 minutes and then you really can't do much in the game because of how laggy glitches or something in the game, I can understand you saying that. But if the game doesn't have any problems with the game, or you don't notice any within the 5 or 10 minutes, I really don't think you can give it just score, whether it be a number, letter score, or any of that, because you haven't really played the game. Some games in 5-10 minutes, you're not even done with the intro or the tutorial, and it's like, I mean, I have to play the game for a minimum of some games for the minimum of 2 to 5 hours before I can really give it just rating myself. Even though I don't do reviews, which I could, because I have it set up to do reviews. I don't do reviews because I play a lot of different games. Some games I haven't beat yet, and I don't want to sit there and I don't have enough time to sit there and play. Hey, put 20 hours in this game within 3 days, make a review of it, have the review out on the 4th day. Don't have that time. But I don't think if you play the game less than an hour, you can really judge most games. They also talked more about The Crew 2, which Crew 2 is another game that looks really, really fun. I know some people don't care about the boat or the planes being added to the game, but I think it's a crazy, wild game, and I actually like that that's added. Let me see. They also obviously still have some money in the For Honor, and they're doing some stuff there. Starlink Battle for Atlas is the name of that game that they have. Star Fox coming to it for the Nintendo Switch version. They have another Trials coming, and they obviously when they did Trials, it looked silly the way they did it. Had a guy come on stage and basically crash stuff into it and then pop up saying, "Hey, here's a new Trials." But if that's how they want to do it, cool. The one thing that I know is delayed until next year possibly is that it's going to be a competitor to one of my favorite current games, Sea of Thieves. And obviously, it's taking a lot from Assassin's Creed Black Flag because they made Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It's just take that, update it, make it more about selling, and that is skull and bones. Which they actually showed that there's P versus P versus P versus E. Which means when you're out there selling, you could be going against other people that are in the game, drop in, drop out, that are in the game with you, or you could go be against other ships that are generated in the game being characters. And you can sit there and change your ship how it looks to camouflage it, change cells to make it look like this kind of ship, that kind of ship, and it looked really, really interesting. But I have to see more to give a full judgment. And basically, lastly but not least, if Larry's got anything to say about any games, he can comment. Lastly but not least, we had Sony do their press conference, which just ended right within an hour of me starting up the stream around a little after 11. My time, at least, it was about an hour. And Sony did all right. The 4 big games they said they were going to talk mostly about, that's basically what they did.
I was disappointed with Sony.
I mean, they came out, it confused me at first with the guy playing the music early on in their setting. But then they went into The Last of Us 2 gameplay. And obviously Last of Us 2 is one of their franchises they're putting more money into it, wanting to build more on that.
Well, watching them do that, I was falling asleep. I'm serious. My eyes were closing. And I was having supper at that time.
Yeah.
So, I'm still going to try The Last of Us 2, but I will not be buying it. Even if their trailer is putting me to sleep, that is seriously wrong on their end. The
right now,
only good thing that Sony did was say, hey, Black Ops 3 is free for PS Plus. That, to me, I like Call of Duty, and I will always like it, but when you have Call of Duty Black Ops 4 pretty much acting like Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified, which is the PS Vita version, where pretty much the only offline mode is pretty much the specialists on Black Ops 4, but in Black Ops Declassified, you're either Frank Woods or Alex Mason, I want to say.
Yeah.
And you play as them. That, to me, $20, maybe 30.
The thing, let me see, Sony. Last of Us Part 2. Ghost, they showed the new Remedy game Control, which they didn't show a whole lot of. Yeah, it's okay. And then, obviously I already talked about the Kingdom Hearts thing that they talked about was Kingdom Hearts 3, and then what they showed in this one was different from the other ones. Was they actually opened it up with them being back in the realistic style world of Kingdom Parts of the Caribbean. But I will say this: was Last of Us 2. The only way that I'll be able to play Last of Us 2, games like Last of Us 2, Gears of War, maybe even the Ratchet and Clank game that came out a few years ago, Death Stranding, is if I get a PS4. Well, by my birthday, which is September 20th, I'll probably make a decision. Do I want to go buy a Nintendo Switch during the holiday season and actually jump into that platform? Or is the Kingdom Hearts limited edition console with all of the Kingdom Hearts games looking enticing enough for me to actually save $300, $400 and buy that console? I mean, I might not be able to get PS Plus and all that, but if I can sit there and buy a game, maybe a game every couple months, and play good single-player experience games, excuse me, and experience that, cool.
Well, this is what I did. Well, I was playing on the 360. I was thinking, okay, do I want the new Xbox or PlayStation? What are my friends going for first? And, I asked around with a few friends, like, hey, are you going Xbox first or PS4 first? And they said Xbox. I was like, okay. So I went with the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare Xbox One.
Cool.
Because my friends were pretty much going Xbox than PS4. There is a couple where, they're like, well, I already have both of them pre-ordered at the same time. So, what did I do? I went with Xbox, and then a friend of mine was selling his PS4, and I was like, hey, how much? And he's giving me a very good deal. And I'm not going to discuss the price. It's a very good deal.
Yeah. But they kind of got me off something. But there's two games that I want to talk about. Two big games I want to talk about. One game that I know that I think you should get, and because if you were a fan of the Batman games that were made in the last couple of years for any of the Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins, stuff like that, you will definitely. It's not as gritty as Batman because Batman's very dark, with Joker and all the different villains in Batman. But it's Spider-Man for PS4, and this Spider-Man basically is set in the world where basically you got some of the mechanics of Arkham, of that kind of version of Batman, but it's a lot faster paced because Spider-Man's a lot smoother, a lot faster the way he flows around New York. But they said that there's kind of like a place like Arkham Asylum out there, like where when say Spider-Man defeats a villain and he goes out to jail. Well, somebody gets into this jail and breaks out the biggest, baddest villains there. Basically, the Sinister Six of Spider-Man's comics world gets broke out, and he's got to go remedy New York of that. Which that game looks beautiful. The gameplay looks solid. So Insomniac, I gotta give you, if I get that PS4 at the beginning of next year, that's one of those games like God of War I will be purchasing. Yeah, it will be months later, and people, if I stream it, people won't care maybe. But that games like that are games that you know, a year, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years from now, whenever you get the chance to experience, take the time to experience that game.
Were you just talking about the Spider-Man game?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. As a kid, what character were, that were superhero based? Well, you have Spider-Man, Hulk, Batman, Iron Man. I might be forgetting a few, but so as a kid, you're growing up watching these, and you're going, wow, wow, just sitting there watching them pick on all these bad guys, In fact, I even have a Spider-Man statue that's small right here in my living room. And because he was one that I grew up watching and everything. And, as a kid, who do you really look up towards?
Yeah.
These superheroes.
Yeah, because, as kids, you look up to grown-ups, and what do you look at grown-ups as? Like your parents or some of the people like doctors, firefighters. How do they explain to you in your kids shows like on Nickelodeon and Disney? They explain them as being like superheroes. So you look up to superheroes as well. Good example.
Yeah. And I even remember when I had the Dreamcast as a kid, having the one Spider-Man game for it. And it came with a kids mode. And I still wish I had the Dreamcast so I could hook it up and just play that all night. Just because, as a kid, that was one game I played the most. Yes, there is a PlayStation version of that Spider-Man game, but I grew up with the Dreamcast version. So, yes, Spider-Man is a game I am buying right away. And what's the other game?
The last game that we need to talk about is a game that was one of my favorite Walking Dead characters in the game. And the game, they finally showed some gameplay footage of it. And it is Death Stranding, the game that was made by, that was initially going to be the next Silent Hill when, what's his name, was with Konami, but then he got the boot from Konami. That Silent Hill series went on hiatus, I guess, and he decided to go make his own game with Death Stranding because he's that much in demand. And all we've seen is some weird trailers with Memory is naked and nothing really solid where you know what the game is about. But this time, we saw a trailer that began with what looked like some bizarre exploration with Normus Reedus carrying a whole lot of crap. This is what it's saying right here on the website, which obviously I would say the same thing, on his back. And of course, it descended into insanity. Kojima, his name's Kojima, really is the David Lynch of video games, and Sony has clearly given him a lot of money to indulge his wildest whims. So that game kind of showed more of it, but it still leaves me what the hell are they doing? Because that game's so out there. Seems like you got these baby type things. Norman Reedus has a thing that's wrong with them. And then you got these baby type things that have like that are almost like human size that are kind of invisible, like ghosts almost, that leave footprints, and it's like it's really weird. Anything you saw from Death Stranding that you would like to say?
Well, that game looked weird when I was watching the trailer. And I'm sitting there going, wait, what game is this?
Yeah. Death Stranding.
It just did not look like a normal game that I'm used to playing.
Yeah, because when you know Kojima's the one behind Metal Gear Solid, it didn't look like anything close to that.
Yeah, and it didn't look like the Silent Hill or Alone in the Dark game. And I'm sitting there. This looks weird. Probably the weirdest game Sony announced.
Yeah, but overall, if I had to put it into a list of what I think who did the best so far, because then you obviously got Nintendo tomorrow, and then you have at 12 o'clock E3 open up to the public, and they come in and interact with developers and get to play hands-on games from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I think Bethesda did the best. I think Bethesda, Xbox, Sony, Ubisoft, Square Enix, and then EA in last. That's just my opinion. Who do you think did the best? Who do you think did the worst?
So far, I gotta say, Xbox/Microsoft, best. Because what did they do? Okay, you want this information? You know? You want trailers? We got them. Give me a game. See how it plays. Someone yells from the audience. Here it is. New content. Coming soon. Next game. Halo. Well, we opened up with that, but okay. Here it is again. So, Xbox went more in depth with their stuff. Sony was like, okay, here's Last of Us Part 2. Here's this game. Here's that game. Whatever.
Oh, there's something. Oh, man. Something big I missed about Xbox. You know, everybody.
No, you're just sitting there and going, okay, now, where's this person or these people from that game to say, this is what we're doing? Like, Microsoft had, what Bethesda had, you know? Sony slacked this year. I'm sorry, but Sony, you're getting it too. Xbox, you're getting 1,000.
Okay. There's a couple of things on Xbox's YouTube page that I forgot to talk about. Obviously, they did more of Metro Exodus, which is obviously a multi-plat game. but Metro has always been pushed more on the Xbox platform ever since it started, which looked really, really cool. And I probably will be getting into that. They also did a game that was previously only on PC and PlayStation. They said Nier Automata is coming to the Xbox One with all its DLC. And there's two other things. Let me see where that one is. It's right up here, ain't it? Oh, there's three other things I forgot to say about. Well, there's a couple others, but I'll say them real quick. We Happy Few, which has always been there, obviously, like you told me, and I remember it always being there, but it was always kind of like in like early stages. It was like a really short game, beautiful looking, but really short. Now they actually put a story into the game, other than you opening the game and basically figuring out if you need to take this pill or not. They actually put a story there. It looked cool. Then there's more of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is multi-platform, but always pushed more on the Xbox, so I'll probably get in that game. The game that I only played a little bit of, Dying Light, they announced Dying Light 2, which looked really, really cool for me to see, you know. I'll definitely be getting into Dying Light 2. They're building more on what you can do in original Dying Light. And there's a game called Tale of Vesperia, which seems more like an anime game and all that. Seems cool. And let me see where they showed it. Yes. Now, before E3, everybody's clamoring, will it be shown at Xbox, PlayStation, or EA? And that is a new Skate game, being Skate 4. Nope. Xbox actually did it, and Xbox didn't have to use Skate or anybody. They actually did a game that looked really, really beautiful and phenomenal, just in the trailer that they showed, and it's called a game called Sessions. So I'm interested in to see what Sessions brings to the table, you know, because I mean, I know if you played games in the early 2000s, Sega Dreamcast, Xbox, PlayStation, you played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Whether you played the 1, 2, 3, 4, or you played Underground, or you played American Wasteland, you played those games. Now, 5 kind of made the series go to a low point. Then, obviously, when Tony Hawk's went to a low point, you went with Rob Dyrdek, and you went with the Skate series. And you had Skate 1, 2, and 3, which were good games. But now to see Xbox bring out a game called Sessions, and it looks like it's an Xbox exclusive skating game, that's really, really cool. So so far for E3 this year, I'm really excited, and it may be a couple years to get everything that they said this year out to the public for us to see for the next year to 3 years. But I'm really excited, and basically know that what we saw here is really cool. And next year, you may see more of some newer games, but you might get a hint at maybe the next PlayStation and Xbox systems, which is alright with me. So have you enjoyed your watching E3, keeping up with it? I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but you enjoyed it?
Yes and no. Name me any game, you know. It might be good, it might not be good. So it has its good points and its bad points. So it's one of those scenes where it's like, okay, you got like Xbox at the high point, but you got stuff at its low point as well.
Yeah, I think this E3 was a lot better than last year, but I do enjoy what I have seen, and I do see some low points. But yes, within the next year, I could possibly having in addition to my Xbox 360, my Xbox One, my PC, and that is, if things work out, if it seems feasible to me, I may be jumping into the PlayStation 4 market at the end of the cycles of the PlayStation 4 market. But when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, comes to Halo, those franchises are franchises that I love so much that I will buy a whole console for that. So hopefully I do that, but if I don't, then I will probably be buying the special edition of Kingdom Hearts that comes with the steelbook, the art book, and the 3 figures for the Xbox One if I don't buy the special edition for PlayStation and get that system. But now there's one other thing I want to talk about with you. You said it in the comments earlier. What do you think about Rockstar and some other developers that are announced games, kind of, but haven't said anything, and their games are coming out later this year?
My biggest question is, do they have their own E3? Oh. Because I know Blizzard has BlizzardCon.
Yeah.
So they're kind of keeping some stuff low key right now. And then, come then,
yeah,
we'll be releasing news there.
And what's this? Square Enix. They do a lot at E3, but they also are big in Japan, so they do keep some stuff under wraps until Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, but before I dive more into this, I will say this, is sometimes I do buy the same game for different platforms. So I'll be pretty much going, okay, I got, let's say Halo. And, for Xbox. And let's say this is a multi-platform game. So I'd also buy it for PlayStation. But I look at what it is first, because yes, it is Xbox, and it says more new content first on this system. So sometimes they even go, well, there's even like an exclusive skin just on this system, because, well, let's see, it's you look at it, well, says I can get the edition where Master Chief takes his helmet off. Well, on this one, it just doesn't do that. But I actually have something crazy, like 3 out of 4 editions of Grand Theft Auto 5. I have it for Xbox 360, Xbox One, and I believe PS3. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah. I also have it for PS3. That way, I sort of get the best of both worlds. And I'm not the type of person that goes, oh, you know, I'm a one console guy. Oh, you know, yeah, I'm going to make fun of people who do this, or play this system and whatnot. No, I don't do that. I buy the other console down the road.
Yep, okay, come on. Get off me, it's a zombie. I have my good ass truck and I can't.
But now I'm going to dive back into what I was previously saying about the different companies. You know, we know that BlizzardCon is a few months away, I believe. I'm not sure. But, well, Blizzard say, hey, Rockstar, hey, so-and-so, because you weren't at E3, you want to come join us. And then, you know, if they do, well, they go, hey, you know, we have this information on this game.
True. And they also have a bunch of different gaming conventions, like ones I think there's like PAX and all that people could go to net now stuff at too.
I'm getting there. Could that spot be any better for an outpost?
Search this box. Search this box. Ooh, I almost fell down. Yeah, so I'm just playing Decay 2. Oh.
My other question is, is that some of these other places is, let's say, you know, we do it next week, like they're next week, and Rockstar's there, and so are some of the others that have not taught at E3. Will they be dropping bombshells? You know, like what Bethesda did. All they did was just say Elder Scrolls 6. And if they do, well, they go, okay, you guys are asking for it? Here it is. Grand Theft Auto 6.
Come on, I get this car out of here. Come on. Got this badass truck and I'm stuck. Let me actually do something real quick to make sure it's where other vehicles at. search.
Could be a good help to us.
Another game that I think they should touch on is the next Homefront.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Come on, I gotta go back this way so I can push my truck out of the hole that dug it in. Okay, let me see. I got 2 vehicles sitting here, so let's get back in this one. I don't want to have to damage another vehicle, but I have to push it. There we go. Okay, so this is the car that I need to park, so I'm gonna park it. Back up just a tiny bit, park it, turn off the light, get out. And then if I can get in this car and go park it over next to it, and I have 2 cars basically in my version of State Decay, which is good. thing.
Already got all I can handle. Not gonna fit.
Okay, let's go back to base and unload all this and then come back out for another journey.
Now, as a gamer yourself, Chris, were there any games that's been announced so far that caught you off guard?
Well, I can't really say Kingdom Hearts because obviously I knew that was going to be announced. But as far as games that really caught me off guard was, well, Elder Scrolls was one of them. Elder Scrolls was one of them. DLC for Prey, DLC for Cuphead. Didn't expect either of them to get DLC, but to see that was like, wow. And also Nier Automata coming to the Xbox, which I thought that's more of a Japanese style game, and Xbox doesn't have a ton of them, but to see that coming to Xbox also was like, wow. But yeah, those games really, because like Nier Automata, I thought it was an awesome game, but to see a game like that more, just like, wow, see more stuff like that, and also DLCs for games that have been out for a good little bit. Finally getting some huge DLC is really, really cool. Hey man, Mad King, hope you had a good night. I stopped in your stream earlier. You were doing wonderful content, wonderful stuff. Glad for all the stuff you're getting on Twitch and here on YouTube. You are a great guy. Thanks for everybody that subscribed to him. Thank you for joining in even though you're going to bed. Really appreciate that. Also, I mean, if I really think about this, is there anything else that really surprised me? I don't have a Nintendo Switch, but to see Ubisoft having a good relationship with Nintendo, like they did with Mario Rabbids and having Star Fox in their Starlink game, was a surprise too. Anything surprise you?
Wolfenstein Youngblood, Elder Scrolls 6, because... Just give me a minute.
Yeah. I know you're big into your Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, October 27th of last year was Wolfenstein 2. So for them to and for them to pretty much say, hey, you know, we're coming out with Wolfenstein Youngblood already. It's like, wait, what? Are you serious? And now they're saying that it's his twin daughters. And it's like, wait, what? And they haven't really touched much about an online multiplayer. Oh, that's one game I'm definitely going to try and buy. You know?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite series of all time. And I might go on Twitch or a bit tomorrow night, as in Tuesday night, and stream some of it from the start. We'll be skipping the cut scenes though, if possible. But I just surprised at that. And Elder Scrolls 6, we finally got news about something coming.
Yep.
And I've already seen people say, oh, I hope that they've learned their lesson from Fallout 4. Last time I checked, Elder Scrolls was not Elder Scrolls. Fallout was in their own universe and stuff. And everything. One comparison that I have seen is the only drink in Skyrim or any of the Elder Scrolls game is booze. So maybe people are getting drunk and stuff. And Fallout is like what people see when they're drunk, which I'll admit does sound kind of funny. But at the same time, it's like, dude, because how would you explain sword fighting then, and then lack of swords in Fallout? Or another comparison is, when you're in the vault, especially in Fallout 4, and you pretty much fall asleep, Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls is what you're dreaming about.
Yep.
if they know a good place for shopping?
I'll find someone in the network to handle it.
One game I was hoping Microsoft would announce, but didn't, is Halo, Art, and
Oh yeah, another Halo Spartan been cool. Another game. There's one game that I know I was waiting for to be announced, but I'll let you say what you have to say. Claim post? Nope. It was getting daytime.
Spartan Strike for the Xbox One. I just couldn't think of the name of it.
Oh, 2 boxes in here.
Must be my birthday. I'm finished here. Ready for the next job. Heading back now. All this is gonna slow me down.
Another game that I wanted them to maybe see if they come back to, which I don't know if they will for a long time, is I hate what they did with Scalebound because it looked like something cool, but it's Fable.
That one is it's one of these series that they might say needs more time and stuff because this, that, the other thing, like when we made Fable 3, we had all this stuff in mind. And then when it came out, people were disappointed in it. People were going, worst Fable ever.
We gotta get some more materials if we want to keep improving this place.
Be careful out there. Okay, guys. It's past time for a grocery run. Any volunteers?
Where's she at? As soon as I find her. Where's she at? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So I got me a follower now, so now I need to get some ammo and food. So what I need to do now?
The game I thought they would announce because it's been leaked online by a few people, including some from the company themselves, is Half-Life 3.
That'd be interesting.
Oh, something I would have liked to have heard is, like, I love Paladins.
Yeah.
the game. So I would have loved to have heard K-11 for our fans, even though Paladin's Strike is mobile, but here's a new mode for console and PC. We're on Paladin's Strike. And oh,
Yep.
here comes Paladins, Summoners War.
No room. This will slow me down. Nothing more. Shit, I almost forgot about that. So that's our exit key, right? I'm not gonna find anything else here. Ooh, work. Fuel.
Dang, I had to kill that.
You know, I used to be a huge baseball fan. Last time we taken the playoffs, I was crushed for a month. Yeah, I guess tragedy isn't what it used to be.
You're the boss.
How am I supposed to carry that? All this weight's gonna slow me down.
May slow me down, but the more stuff I have, the better I feel.
later. Now that was a fucking tragedy.
Let's pray.
I really hope you know what you're doing.
Keep your head on straight. This one's not easy. I'm way too hungry to be useful right now.
The right point. I'll follow. I don't like losing. Not like this.
Fucking tired.
Stay noisy, or we can stay safe. Whoa. That all you got?
Not gonna fit. You're the boss. Aim for the sets, asshole.
Yeah.
Got it.
aren't nearby, the whole area would be crawling with infected zombies. Destroy the plague heart itself to get a bunch of samples. That's more dangerous. Better gear up before you get started on this one.
Helping out like this is a good way to make friends.
Let's hope this pays off. We could use allies out here.
So I go kill the plague heart, okay.
No way they missed that.
Sorry, but I'm a little busy.
Goodbye. Nothing left of my gear. Okay, now where's that plague heart hiding? If anyone over there is listening, we could use some help. Here for a job? Time to do it.
I spotted a place. Be careful.
This'll take forever. I need a better plan. Keep going. That's all I got.
So how is State of Decay going for you?
It's going alright. No.
Still hear them calling around. Nothing like a job
case Garcia said he ate him to drop. Switch to her.
Huh?
After you.
Okay, use the bandage.